Hey, 5th and 6th graders. So today, as you heard in our Zoom meeting, is you are going to be creating radial symmetrical designs. Okay, now radial we learned was a circular shape. Okay, so that means it goes around the whole circle. And symmetrical means that it's the same if you were to split it in half. So one side kind of becomes a mirror of the other side. Okay, so that's something that's symmetrical. An example of that is your face, right? So if you were to draw a line straight down your face, you have an eye on this side and an eye on this side. Half of a nose, half of a nose, half a mouth, half a mouth. Okay, now not everyone's faces are exactly symmetrical. That's just kind of how we're created, but it's just a good example of what symmetry is. So when you're making your design today, you are going to need a piece of white paper, all right? And everyone's white paper may be different sizes. So when you are finding the next object, make sure that you're comparing it to your paper to make sure it's a good size. So the object that you need to go and find around your house is you need to find something that's circular. Okay, so for example, I grabbed a lid to one of my bowls. Okay, I have these like metal bowls that all have these black lids that go with them. Okay, so you can see that this has a nice circle shape to it. Okay, and on each side it does, so I could use really either side. And when I hold it up to my paper, it fits on my paper. So it goes like almost right up to the edges. Okay, do you see how you can see underneath there, like a little bit of the paper still showing? Okay, you want it to fill up most of your paper. If it's too small, it's gonna be too complicated and it's gonna become a different type of artwork. It's not gonna be the symmetrical radial design that we're trying to go for. Okay, so go find a piece of paper and then something circular that you can use to trace a circle with around your house. Okay, so you'll need on top of that a pencil, and I find it helpful to have a ruler or a straight edge, something that's straight and flat so that you can make a nice straight line to do our radial symmetrical designs with. All right, so go find those items and then let's get started. Okay, so I have all my objects here. And I even grabbed my black Sharpie, but you won't really need that till later. Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna place your circle object onto your paper so that it is about centered. So how you do that is you look on the top of it and you just look to see if the distance between the object and the edge of the paper is the same on each side. Okay, so we all know how to do this. Take your pencil and trace around that object. Then when you lift it up, you should have a circle on your sheet. All right. So the next step is we are going to be breaking our circle into 4 equal parts. So how you need to do this is find like the middle of your circle first. So this circle, oh, this is not an even circle. That's going to be hard. You can even just eyeball it too. It doesn't have to be exactly right. But you're going to draw a line down the middle of your circle, and then you're going to draw going vertical, and then you're going to draw a horizontal line going down the middle like this. Okay, so that I have 4 equal parts in my circle here. Okay, now you're not going to want to outline everything with a Sharpie right away because we're going to be needing to erase these lines by the end of it. Okay, so in a radial symmetrical design, whatever you do on one half, you need to also mimic and do on the other half. So the best way that I found to do this is to come up with some sort of idea. Do you want it to be half this way and then go on this half, or do you want it to be a design in each one of these 4 corners? Okay, so either look at it as a half circle or look at it as 4 pieces of a pie. Okay, so I'm going to do the 4 pieces of a pie method. I just find that it's a little bit easier. And I'm gonna zoom in a little bit here so you guys can see a little bit closer what it is that I'm doing. Okay, so in each area, I want this to be symmetrical, right? So whatever I do in this shape, I have to also do in this shape, etc., etc. Okay, so I'm gonna start with my first line design. So let's say I want it just to be like 2 bumps. So I'm going to turn my paper, start where my last line left off, bump, turn it, start where that line left off, and again. Okay, so now you see that that whole line now has become one radial design. Okay, so going on from there, maybe I want to have a straight line going up and coming back down like this. Turn my paper, go up, back down, straight line up again on this one, turn my paper, and again on this side. Okay, so you can see that it just continues to make it a symmetrical pattern all the way around. So I'm going to keep adding design to mine, and you'll see it's going to start to grow and it's going to start to look symmetrical. And here is my finished radial symmetrical design. Okay, so what I did, guys, I was just making it up as I went along. Okay, so some of the things I'm not like 100% thrilled with, like the way they look, but some of them I'm also like, oh, that looks super cool. The more detail you put into it, the longer it's going to take to add color into it. So just keep that in mind as you're doing that. I started mine a little bit more detailed, and then as I went further away, it became less detailed, but I still really like how it turned out. Okay, so if you find that you still have time in your day after creating your pattern, you can go ahead and outline these using your black Sharpie. Okay, so outline your lines. If you don't like being able to see these two lines, the vertical and the horizontal line that we did, you can erase those and then outline the whole circle and all of the line details that you did inside of there. Okay, we're gonna be doing that on Wednesday. So if you want to get a head start, you can go ahead and outline it, but don't add color into it until we get to Wednesday, because you guys need to see how we're gonna be adding color. All right, I hope you guys have a really great Monday and have fun getting to do your radial symmetrical designs.